Grady's with us in Vermont. Welcome to the EntreLeadership Podcast, Grady. What's up?
My father and I are co-owners in a medium-sized dairy farm up here in Vermont. We've been in operation for 234 years.
Good Lord. That's some old cows.
Yeah, some of them. But I was wondering how, in the ag industry where we have no control over our price or any of the prices that any purchases we're able to make, fuel, grain, or the milk price we receive, how do we save for future capital purchases without paying drunk Uncle Steve, which is what I call the IRS or Congress, any extra tax?
You're going to pay tax on money that you save in a small business. Sub S, LLC, 100% of your profits are passed through, and 100% of your profits are taxable on a calendar year basis. You don't get out of that.
So
because drunk Uncle Steve wants to support small business, bull crap. The tax law is written for big business. It is not written for you and me. So you're right. It's aggravating as crud. So when I save around here, I have a retained earnings account that I save for future large capital purchases, and I save for future emergencies, and I save for all the things we save money for in business called retained earnings. I get taxed on it. And so it is reduced by 39% at the end of the year. So if I save $1 million, it costs me $390,000.
Great.
Sorry. But guess what? If you, there's no avoiding it. I mean, if you buy the item during the calendar year, that, obviously some items are expensed on a 1 year and some are put on a depreciation schedule depending on what type of capital asset it is. Now, the only alternative is to stay in debt the whole time, which destabilizes the whole operation. Because every time there's a downturn and you got big old payments, well, Warren Buffett said it, when you can tell who was skinny dipping when the tide goes out. So every time there's a problem, your stupid is exposed, called debt. And so these farmers that borrow because, well, it's just the way farming operations work, Ramsey, you don't understand. By God, I do understand. I run an operation bigger than your farming operation. And I'm sitting in a building that costs, I've got about $400 million worth of real estate over here I paid cash for. Wasn't easy after I paid drunk Uncle Steve, right? So I love that, by the way. I'm going to steal that. So anyway, all that to say, what we have done for years, Grady, is we put in our budgeting process, in our P&L, when we get to the profit line, before we take home excess profits. Now, we pay ourselves a reasonable fee, a reasonable salary, but before we take home excess profits, we set aside a percentage of that every single month when we close the books monthly, and a percentage of our net profit goes into retained earnings for future large capital purchases. Now, I've been doing we've got a 60-acre campus here, and we've been doing construction on this campus for the past 6 years or so. So like 100% of my freaking money has gone into these buildings. After we ate and Sharon and I have a good life. We're not like starving to death or something. But, so all we've done is these large capital assets, and I'm about to finish our we're getting ready to open up our Ramsey Events Center, and that means I don't have anything under the construction for the first time in a long time. It's kind of like when you had the last kid and you get the last one out of diapers, It's like we're finally going to have some dadgum money again to do some stuff with, because we've been pouring it all into concrete, and you're going to have some years like that or some seasons like that where all of your excess profits is plowed back into upgrades, milking machines, or a redone barn, or whatever it is, however it translates in your world. But that's how we've done it. And by God, during COVID, when they told us that we weren't essential, didn't you love that crap? And turns out we're by God all essential. Shut up, Fauci. But anyway, so So during that time, I was real thankful I didn't have any payments.
Yeah, and we're in the same boat. Father's worked 30 years, and the farm's completely debt-free. Yeah. We own all the land. We own equipment.
I didn't think you were asking about debt, but I get a lot of crap from farmers about, you don't understand, a combine, $500 million or whatever they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, But it is expensive. But guess what? Big business is expensive. The bigger you are, the bigger your expenses.
Right.
So
Is there any way of restructuring LLCs if we were to break up land and machinery and move money between LLCs, or is that just
I don't think it'll keep drunk Uncle Steve out of it. Probably. I will tell you one thing we have done that you can check out, and I don't know exactly how it'll apply, but we brought in an outside consulting firm that takes our buildings and our tenant improvements and breaks them down by component so that we can expense more of it and we can put shorter depreciation schedules on more of it, and it's much more tax efficient that way because we're shortening up the amount of time that we're writing the stuff off. So we had some stuff, we're dumping a whole bunch of it like in a 30-year depreciation schedule, and some components of that we could put on a 1-year or a 5-year. And so this company came in and broke that out for us. They did all the back leg work, and they charged us a fee and saved us a whole lot more. So we bring them in every time we put a new asset. Like when we launch this new building, we'll bring them in and go, okay, what parts of this can we write off this year? And they'll take out the seats and they'll take out the electrical and they'll take pieces out that we can do. And you may have some of that with some of your equipment that you're not expensing that you could be, or you're not putting on as short a depreciation schedule as you can. But the bottom line answer to your situation, man, is you have to start setting aside systematically retained earnings out of your P&L. Continually grow your cash position because 100% of the time you're going to need it. You're going to need cash to expand. You're going to need cash to replace worn out equipment, and it is part of the operation. I mean, like around here, we've got 1,100 people, and every one of them has a stupid computer. And you know what a computer is. As soon as you get it out of the box, it's already out of date. You already need another one. It's like your phone, right? And so, we just have to budget. We're just continually trashing 3-year-old computers. We're throwing them away or donating them to somebody, right? Because because we're turning them over. We got to keep our people efficient, and the computer is a cost of doing business, the upgrades. And so stinking screens, man, the audio-visual world, it changes by the minute. Same thing. You got it in the dairy world, I got it in this world. So in business, we've just got to systematically know that crap is going to break and crap is going to become obsolete, and we have to constantly have the money for that by setting it aside systematically out of the P&L. Man, Grady, dairy work is hard work. That's a hard gig you got. 200 years old, what a legacy. That's a pretty cool business, man. Well done. We're proud of you. You're a rock star. I had a friend grew up on a dairy farm. She said her dad convinced them that Labor Day was the day you worked the hardest. It's hard work, man, because those cows, they don't care if it's Christmas. They still want to be milked. They don't really care if it's cold. They still want to be milked. You got a demanding boss, them cows. It's real. So thank you. Those of us that drink milk and eat butter, we love you. Thank you, man.